So, quick changes. I am going to do the thing about the line ends, and I'm going to do it first. The other thing I'm going to do is black borders around this, dark borders maybe around the selected. I'll have to think about, actually. I'll see how the dark borders look before I make the next decision, and some other things. Firstly, line ends, and also the filtering on that line in GUI, in init. This does need the texture flags filter, or does need the filter texture flag. And inside GUI classes, gline dashed. At the end of this, I want to set dash start to be something based on where dash end ended up. Bearing in mind that dash end currently is has dash start off added to it. Dash start off. Yeah, it's the offset of the start of the dash. I'm gonna have to do something about that. So I can always just do something different. It's not like a big deal. What am I looking at here? I think I'm looking at this. So in here I'd drawn it as if it was at 0 offset and it ended at like 1.75. Figured that out somewhere, I think. There. That's the span of it. Now if this was the case, I'd want the next offset to be minus 0.25. Isn't that right? No, not minus 0.25. Minus 0.75. Because that is the actual start. Like the next line would lead on from this over in that direction. And I want the sort of the next solid part of it to start there, which means how do I describe it? Yeah, that means the offset is, well, technically the offset is 0.75, but that gets subtracted here. Is that right? Something like that. X off, yeah. So 1.75 happens to be the end here. Is it just that I'm sort of subtracting the fractional part of that? I shouldn't just guess like this, particularly as this is not the end, that's the span, that's the end if it was in this sort of ideal position with no offset. If the offset starts as 5, as I'm describing it, the span is still 1.75, but I'm saying the offset is like 5, so I subtract 5. Actually, the next one should begin at minus 0.5. Well, it should have an offset of 0.5 if the setup is here, like this, which is, again, it's the decimal part of this. So here's what I'm going to do. Dash end, it gets used every time. Dash end minus dash end equal, okay, dash end is back to dash start plus dash span. And then I want to just try and, is this the way I really want to think about it? 1.5, yeah, I want to just get the fractional part of dash end. So I want to say dash end minus equals the integer of dash end. Does that make sense? Set dash start offset. Yeah, okay, yeah. Set dash offset to be dash end. Am I so bold, oops, as to think that that's all I have to do? And then set dash offset cleans up the other bits to make sure that the start yeah, yeah. I think I am so bold as to believe that's all I have to do, and why not just find out? It should work immediately. I'm not. It's only when I call that set line or gline.set that the start is actually set, and I do that at the beginning of the set of segments. So here we will see. I just ran it with a debugger off because I'm just an idiot. I can't figure out. It isn't working, right? It's not working. Is it? I'm getting more out that end. Then it's feeding in. Okay, hang on a sec. Bring me back to simplicity. It's seriously telling me that's the start. Right, it's not working one way or the other. Because in the middle, whichever, like it should scroll through that middle point at all times, not into it. Like this would be correct. But as I pull back here, this should pull back as well. And it doesn't quite work, and I'm wondering. Alright, okay. No, I think I get an just. It doesn't equal this, or rather, there's another step, which is something like dash end times dash length, was it? I wonder if it's dash length times 2. I'm just going to try running it again before I do the sum, because that is like the little proportion. This, yeah, the dash end is in the texture space, so to speak. Dash offset is in the number of pixels that the line is. Okay, right, well, still wrong, but interesting that it's trying. I'm going to do another guess, because I hate doing sums, and I don't think it's right, but let's just give it a go. And if it's not, then I guess I will do some sums. No, haha, look at it though, it's very nearly. Goes well in this direction. Hang on a sec, what is wrong with it? It's going in the wrong direction. It equals a minus of that. I'm guessing again, of course. I just, like I say, let's just avoid the sums if I can. It is information, this as well. Partly it's, you know, an effect I want to see. But it does information about the direction towards the end of the line. Or the, yeah, the curve, so to speak, the segments. That's how it should look. Yeah. It's obscene how much pleasure I take in a little thing like that. Just to see. I mean, it is working. It's just a lot of it is hidden behind. I think it's working. As I can kind of demonstrate it better by doing this. pulling it out to there. Yeah, look at that. The line just feeding, the dash feeding off one line onto the other. Exactly how I want it to look. And the lines do look cleaner because I put the filtering on. Maybe they could do with being a bit thicker, maybe it doesn't really matter. Actually, I'm not going to make them thicker yet because I'm going to add in outlines. And I'm tempted to add outlines around everything. I'm absurdly pleased with the way that looks. It's just colour and movement, you know. Just simple little things. Add some curved lines. You're just in for pleasure, basically. Okay. I will not sit here playing with it. Right, what's the next thing? The next thing is outlines around lines. And that is in Recursor. And it's in Recursor, not in GUI, but in WorkZone. In Finish Draw. In Finish Draw, a lot of things happen. The corner paths. Do I want to draw an outline around the corner paths? It's a whole bunch more lines to draw, but I just don't think drawing lines is a fuss for it. Will I just do this? Let me think about, well no, let me do this first. The preview segments. Because basically I do this in two parts. Shoot a tab back. And first I set this to black, AB. This later part does not matter because I'm not going to draw a dashed line. I'm going to draw a solid line. And I'm going to draw it extra line thickness plus 2.0, and the reason it's going to be 2.0 is because that's the same size border as I put in this, which means that I'm going to make another global border size equals 2.0. And also I realised that a sensible thing to do now would be to take something that's in here, vert radius, yeah, that's a very, very max prev rex new vert offset. New vert offset. These are some horrible little things for sure. Vert radius I feel should come out of here. As should snap radius, maybe not. Heck with it. I'll leave it there for now. Sorry, I'm just wittering and being confused. I need to know about border size just now. And I need to come in here and say this is actually plus border size. And then here, this is actually plus is actually... Oh no, that's true anyway. And this is true. Do I want to draw the last pixel of that? Don't suppose it matters much because it's being drawn opaque. But let me just see what this outline looks like. Wait, I'm going to make one other change before I do, and it's in the controls. If CV equals covered vert, cool spot color equals spot color AV. If it's selected, then it's this. If it's this, or CC equals covered corner, do I have selected corner? I should really just do a select statement here. Do I have something such as selected? I do. So I am just going to do a select statement here. No, I can't do that because it's actually a bunch of different things. It's if the CV is covered vert, or CV is covered corner, or CC. There's a whole bunch of little things. I mean, that is what it is. That is what it is, and that's how it will be. Right. I need to change the appearance of the output frame as well. I think it needs to be blue or something. At the moment it pretty much blends in with everything else. And I want to make whether or not the output frame is displayed an option so that you can just take it out of the display generally. Just a flag, because it's not like that useful until it comes to the point you actually want to decide what you're selecting. And mainly it's just in the way, and it's an extra couple of little widgets on the screen that annoy. So I'm expecting to see little black outlines around the main segments, and I'm expecting the controls to light up rather differently. Okay, if there's a black outline around that, it's very, very thin. But I suppose what I need to do to... Wow, it's really thin. Yeah, it's because for starters I need to double it. And I'm just going to do it immediately because I'm not really... Order size times 2. I'm only altering the thickness. In the case of the widgets, I'm sort of adding 2 all round. In this case, I'm just adding 2 all to the thickness. I need to add 2 to each side. So, yeah, the controls should light up slightly differently. I'm hoping it'll give you some more indication of the association between the controls that are currently lit. Hovering over a control, it will light up all the controls path, so then you get more of an idea. Right, the outline is considerably thicker now. Okay, you're in no doubt. Wow, okay, I am zoomed out. If I turn on this, you can see I'm working on a massive scale here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to project new. No, actually forget that. I'm just going to get this right, because another thing I've realized is that losing information, like losing the gradient and palette, not the palette should stay, but losing the gradient information and everything is crushing. Am I anywhere near reasonable here? Yes, I'm getting there. Am I even close to, like, I need to make the axes more visible. I can just see them faintly there. They need to be, I don't know what color, like luminous green. I need to get in closer still, so that I'm getting close to this being 1-to-1, and I will know that. Like, I'm not far off it now, because this should be like 10 units high. At the moment it's twice that, so it's still too big, but there we go, somewhere around about that, like 10. Then if I switch off the grid and see the actual axis, that was a massive hassle. But here I am. Maybe I should make the length of the dashes scale with the zoom. Kinda don't want to, but anyway. Let me line this up such that I'm more or less, yeah, even from either side. Except, of course, I don't want it quite like that. Okay, I'm just having a little bit of a play, because I want to check. Like, it's going up to 60. I want to, yeah, this is the sort of thing I want to see. I want to see large amounts of interference, so I can see how my lines stand out, and they pretty much do. Is there something else I want to do to them? I don't think there is for the segments. Let me have a look at this when I make a loop. And yeah, when I hover over the loop now, all the parts of it light up, and when I select it, all the parts of it remain lit. That's nicer. I feel like maybe that could be more extreme. Like, it's all red, orange, yellow for the handles. Maybe it should just be more... Maybe the red should be stronger for starters. Now, the paths go very dim when you don't. Hovering over them, I mean, in a way it's maybe not too bad that the paths are very dim when they're not selected or lit, or you're not just hovering over them. When you hover over them, you do get... And so what I was actually thinking was, maybe I can add more... Oops. An extra level of sort of details, or basically an outline to this method of drawing, so that when you hover over it you get it, and when it's selected, that you can make an individual out just by hovering, currently editing. The other loops, just it's really, it's there. Okay, so first off, yeah, I want an outline around the loop that you're currently... Origin, where on earth is it? Our paths. Here. And this is the one where I'm going to do the same. This seems wasteful, but I just like it like this. So I'm going around the same way. Temp color AV. Now, I go to a big palaver here to set temp color. So actually, I'll do this before resetting temp color because I might want to play with temp color myself. And I will see. Temp color. Not that. Make it a 0.0, 0.0, 0.0, 0.5 plus border size times 2.0. And that's it. Not this bit. I don't need to do that because I want this just to be solid. Don't want the color to change over time. And that's it. Then I set the line up again ready for the next color there. And this is only in the selected corner or covered corner instance. The other way just draws us that dim line. I might make that dim line a little bit less dim. Oh, I'm coming up to half an hour already, and really, what have I done here? Well, it is important stuff in a way. Yeah, okay, that's much, much more like it. And where's the other one? It's there, so I can see very clearly. I wonder if I should do... I wonder if I should do something. Like, this is really very dim, isn't it? I start to get slightly worried about drawing too many lines, but then I remember this and think, forget it, dude. What is this? Another 20, 40, 60, 120 lines. That is an extra 3,000 nearly. So if I add a little sort of outline, because I could just add a dim outline around these as well. In fact, I will give it a go right now and see what it looks like, because it's basically this again. Okay, no, I don't need this. A bit there as well. And I make it not point. Oh, my poor computer. Give that a go, mate. Yeah, and this version of line doesn't rely on the line's internal stuff. It just takes all of it. Yeah, just looking over it, thinking what mistake made. Maybe that'll make them stand out too much, actually. I should be thinking about more is... I want to draw the last bit of that line, I think. Anyway, what I should be thinking about more is... Yeah, I don't know. That box is annoying to me. I suppose I can see, I mean, I can see it a bit more. I'm not trying it out against a huge range of backgrounds either, I must admit. Also, I find myself wanting some sort of indication at this point that the line is connected to that. And similarly here, it's like... Well, I'm going to leave these little outlines on those lines. I'm not sure if it's a good plan or not, but I will leave them there anyway. On the whole, I am much more pleased with the way this is looking. Almost absurdly pleased when I look at this little corner here and watch it just smoothly have its points ease through. Just that's pleasure of that. Reason. Movement. Okay, well, here of these that I wanted it to do. I don't know. Maybe these go completely yellow and don't know. Often aside, these things now clearly a line, but in a way like they should appear on. Now they won't. So now, yeah, I'm kind of really getting somewhere in terms of getting to the end of a lot of the. Oops, that won't like that. Oh, that's okay. Getting to the end of a lot of the changes I wanted to make to the appearance of this. So it's one of the most boring things, but this guide isn't much use either. The first thing I can do is change its color. That's the easiest thing I can do. And the other thing is I can make it broader. Making it broader, these lines are broad, these ones, but the line that defines them runs down the middle. If I make this broader, the line that defines it has to remain, I think, on the outside of the frame. So when I imagine trying to increase the size of this frame, what I'm actually imagining is sort of 4 quads making a picture frame shape around the outside, possibly with a kind of, well, I don't know what, because what? Because again, it's something that has to, I was going to say, maybe an additive gradient, more intense at the inside of the frame. It has completely disappeared now, the frame. But I was going to say an additive gradient, but that will work against some backgrounds, but then obviously it'll quickly just saturate to white or to whatever. So maybe I don't. If I open this, I stand. I wonder what it's doing just now that's so much more. I shouldn't just sit and ponder it. Look at all this. I'm probably too full. Wonder if there's anything I can do about this. Apart from the editor. I don't want to the editor down size now. Probably still. Yeah. I wonder how much my mic is dropping out. I notice that my mic does drop out sometimes at other times. And I am running in release mode. I wonder if I've done some things that make it just. Now it's kind of come back a bit. Take that, do it at a large frame size. Yeah, it hits crunch points and I don't know why. This is a fine frame rate for this amount of detail with FFmpeg running. I can always do things to simplify it. Can remove some of these details that are being drawn. Can remove some detail from mine, although you can still see the individual. But yes, it brings me on to the next thing. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I can kind of tell the difference from the beginning to the end. When I move these spots, it's like it's anchored at the beginning and free at the end. Similarly here. anchored at the beginning and free at the end, and the same here. Just as I like. Now, I'm avoiding saying the next bit because I want to take an irresponsible route. I want to continue GUI stuff. This is like GUI stuff, you know, making it prettier, trying to make it easier to use just through the way it looks. And I quite like the way all these buttons and everything look, but they're not beautiful. They're beautiful to my eyes, which liked the old Amiga and stuff like that. They could be cleaner, least higher resolution. I'm using a kind of, it's pretty, you know, I draw. Is this good? That's helped me. It helps MPEG. MPEG, yeah. Crazy. Well, look what the time is. 36. I'm going to just check this video back. If it's been too much, then that's no good. Go away. You come down here. But I will just a moment about the things that I might sidetrack myself arranging a higher resolution font for this. And I might do what? Sidetrack myself arranging the high resolution font and slightly changing the appearance of the gadgets, changing the color and maybe giving them a thinner border, or maybe just giving them like a single pixel non-3D border, just so that they look just more plain. That is a sort of, I don't know how to put it, it's a way of distracting myself from maybe the fact that what I really need to do is the stuff to do with rendering again, and I find that intimidating. And also not necessarily so satisfying as doing GUI work, because doing GUI work is very instant results, which you can be pretty confident whether or not they're good or bad. For now, this is completely fine. Either GUI or rendering next time, and it's going to be GUI. I'm going to make it look a bit swisher.